This gemstone is the find of the year for me.
Today we're rockhounding the California Gem Basket.
Pretty cool. Okay, so here's what the terrain looks like. Today we're rockhounding in California's Gem Basket, and that is the region over here to the east of San Diego. These mountains right here. This is called the California Gem Basket. It's full of tourmaline, it's full of garnets, and it's full of that nice stuff because of this. This is called pegmatite. This kind of white quartzy material. This is an excellent place for crystals to grow.
If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And if you're ever hiking in this area, you can always tell the pegmatite by this white quartzy material. It's going to be stark against the black and brown dirt.
Pegmatite is known as nature's jewelry box because so many other gemstones occur in it. And I have found a lot of black tourmaline before, but it'd be really cool if I could find some green, some pink.
Now, black tourmaline, otherwise known as schorl, is the most common tourmaline in the world. In fact, I believe it makes up 90% of all the tourmaline on the planet is black tourmaline. So we're looking for something a little bit more exotic. Now, you see this gold stuff right here? This is called mica.
So the more glittering mica that we find in these pegmatites, the better. Rockhounding tourmaline is not the same as rockhounding for agate. You're gonna have to break open a lot of rocks and see what's inside. It's not gonna be just there at your feet. Also, we're going to want to watch out for snakes and mountain lions here.
Now, the higher up we go, the better quality crystals we're going to find in that pegmatite mix. Like, check this out. That is just a ball of mica and muscovite. So a lot of people ask me how I find such great places to go rockhounding at, and the answer is, I don't.
There's the mine way up there. However, I'm pretty sure it's still a private mine, so we're not gonna go up there. In fact, it's kind of impossible to get up there anyways by car. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hike up to the base of the mountain where maybe some of the pegmatite may have fallen down and see if we can find something.
And that's pretty much my secret. A lot of research to find gem-bearing land and then public access that butts up against it.
So when you're rockhounding for tourmaline, you're going to want to crack open the bigger rocks. It just makes sense. It's more surface area, there's more chance of stuff being inside. Also, if there's a lot happening on a particular rock, like there's tons of mica, there's tons of schorl, that's something that you want to crack open too.
And that huge boulder that we just cracked open revealed our first sign of black tourmaline. Check that out. It's a really nice crystal. It's pencil thin with a lot of striations going down the face of the crystal.
All right, we just found our first tourmaline of the day. So this area for me is a notoriously difficult place to go rockhounding. And the reason for that is because all of the really good places are under claim or on private land. So I have to get really creative about finding public land access. But I can't tell you how many days I have wasted, hours wasted, just following dirt roads for hours and hours and hours just to end at a no trespassing fence.
Luckily, that's not the case today, and if you'll notice, this is the very first video that I've ever done about the Gem Basket area near San Diego, because it's the very first time I've ever found good public access. It is a project, folks. Now check this out. I'm coming to where the path intersects the runoff of the mine that I've researched.
So there's the mine way up there. Here's where the rocks come down, and this is where we'll hunt.
So again, coming here was just a theory, and it is looking like it's paying off. You see that giant chunk of white here? These things, this is what I'm talking about. This is pure pegmatite, and it's full of crystals, as you can see. It's stark white, except for the crystals in the middle. And most of them are black, but some of them might be navy blue.
Looks like some people have gotten here before me. That is a great sign. It means I'm in the right place.
This one right here is kind of unique. You can see that telltale bit of tourmaline right there. It kind of glints in the sun because it's got those striations. Tourmaline cleaves in a very distinct way from head to tail, leaving ridges and lines. So again, we are hoping for a different color tourmaline other than black. It would be great if we could find some green. It would be great if we find some pink. Both of that stuff is here. Both of that stuff is nearby. Here's 3 pieces of black. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
And this one's really interesting. See, there's a small little spray of garnet within the pegmatite. But my biggest discovery of the day is this right here. Check out that. In the tip of that pegmatite is blue tourmaline, otherwise known as Indicolite.
I think this is it. I'm just gonna chop it down so I can carry it.
Now, blue tourmaline is incredibly rare. I told you that black was the most common. Blue is probably the most rare shade of tourmaline that you can find, and as soon as I find one, I'm finding a bunch. You see all that really nice, that deep blue, that ocean blue in there? That is blue tourmaline, otherwise known as Indicolite. And some of these crystals are a really dark navy, while others are a lighter shade of seafoam green. However, my best one of the day probably was this little one right here with 2 pieces of Indicolite right on the tip.
I cannot believe we're finding such good stuff here. I just hope this is what I think it is.
Yeah, oftentimes you can find some crystals while rock hounding and be convinced that it's this priceless thing, but it's really wishful thinking. I hope it's not the case today. So the reason I knew to come to this particular canyon at this particular mine was when I was researching the mine, I read that there was some heavy dynamite blasting in this excavation, so I just assumed that a lot of the stuff would tumble down.
You'll also find a lot of lepidolite up here, which is where we get lithium from.
And lepidolite looks flaky, but you can still throw it in your rock tumbler. I also found this really cool small little cluster family of garnets on this little piece right here.
Wow, that's probably our best garnet of the day. Alright, I think this is the end of the road. Time to head back.
This was just an incredible find today. Indicolite you can find in Colorado, you can find it in Brazil, but it's just a very rare gemstone to find, and one that I'm super stoked to put on my collector shelf.
Let's take them home, clean them up, and see what we got.
So these crystals may look small, but that's just because the other ends of them are still stuck in the pegmatite, so we're going to cut them open and see what we got. And this one right here is my best one. As you can see, it cleaves right down the middle and reveals a 2-inch long blue indicolite crystal. And the other half's not too bad either. It's not often that I get this excited about finding crystals, but this was special. Indicolite blue tourmaline. Pretty cool.